Winston. So just a quick update of the events over the last 24 hours. The HMNZS Canterbury left last night with a full 186 evacuees on board, and they moored in Christchurch this morning, and they've all been transported to their various locations and to the Horncastle Arena, and they're being well looked after. Further evacuations will only be available for emergency and welfare needs. So Kaikoura Airport is open now for charter flights. The inland road remains closed, so we have had reports of people driving out on their own, and most of these are being turned back by police. So please don't attempt to drive on the inland road out of Kaikoura. It's under the control of NZTA, and their advice is it's closed until further notice. There is a convoy of 7 military vehicles that came through with more urgent supplies this morning, and so that's been welcomed. The buildings, so by the end of today, the building inspectors and the engineers will have inspected 50% of the buildings in Kaikoura, and urban search and rescue building specialists are carrying out emergency repairs and shoring up windows and facades where possible. So if your home has been inspected and you have questions about the information, what does the red assessment mean, what does yellow mean, and what does white mean, our building inspector will be taking questions in the reception area of council that can assist you. And if you are waiting on a building inspection, please leave your contact details so the inspectors can be in touch. And police are working their way around homes in the outlying areas to check on families, delivering supplies and carrying out rapid property assessments. So there's a big push now into the rural communities, and we are organising needs assessments across the rural community and working closely with Ngāi Tahu. All rural and lifestyle properties in the district will receive a visit, and these visits will be rolling out this week. And if you know of someone that hasn't had a visit or think they've been missed, then please give us a call or call in, and we'll absolutely look. We don't want to leave anybody behind. So Federated Farmers have set up a hotline which is 0800 327 646, and we'll make sure that's on the information that goes on the notice boards and on the websites. An update from Spark. Now we have all cell sites, a report that cell sites are up and running, including Hundalea, Waiau, Kaikoura Reservoir, Weld Cone, Clarence. Weld Cone's on a bit of a lean, so the signal is limited, so it might be lesser service than you're used to. So while most landlines and internet services have been restored, there are still some localised outages, including 88 broadband customers in Kaikoura and Clarence, and 241 landline numbers related have damage on the cabinets that serve them. A fix is being urgently worked on by Chorus. Now the chemical toilets has been rolled out and is continuing. Last night, about 40% of the town have received the chemical toilets, and chemicals will be delivered as they are unpacked, and they're distributed that came off of the Canterbury. The discharge tanks are still to arrive, but the chemical toilets do have 7 days storage, and those tanks will be in place in time for you to utilise them. Otherwise, we're going to have a bit of a mess on our hands. So that's been an urgency that we've requested to come back. So a large proportion of the town has got water back, and with South Bay being the only exception, we're working on that and hopefully have better news today. So a large percentage of the Kaikoura township is restored, and we're working on remote and rural areas to make sure we've got water back there as well. So if your neighbours don't have water, you need to check that the Toby valve at the front of the house is turned on, because all of those were turned off initially in case there was leaks inside the building, and that would just waste the precious resource that we have. And if your neighbours don't know how to do that, it's usually a blue box, sits out on the footpath, and there's a valve clockwise closing and anti-clockwise opening, and you'll soon know when you've got water. Health, the message on personal hygiene continues to avoid the outbreak of gastro, as it's very highly infectious. So the word is to boil all drinking water, no matter where it's come from, unless it's in a sealed, the proper bottled water, the pump bottles, etc. This includes any water they use for food preparation, vegetables, or teeth cleaning. We do have the availability of disinfectant down at Memorial Hall in 2-litre containers. You can use that to disinfect water 5 litres per 5 drops per 1 litre of water. Let that stand, shake it up, and that should be reasonably safe to drink. And wash and sanitize hands often and use that sanitizer regularly. Kaikoura Health, Te Ora, is fully staffed with a full team of GPs and nurses and is offering free health care. They would prefer to see people sooner rather than later, so don't be afraid to make an appointment. A message from the health team: if you took some bleach yesterday from the community meeting that is lemon scented, this is only suitable for cleaning. We weren't aware that there was some lemon scented. You don't want your water tasting like lemon scent. It's only suitable for cleaning, not for putting into your water. So if you require it for drinking water, only use the unscented bleach, and it's available, and let the reception know at council if you want to swap that out. Now, the New Zealand Defence Force have set up a mobile shower unit in Kaikoura, and up to 120 residents a day who are without water can come and freshen up in a communal shower. I think there is still some privacy there, but for the males and females. So to register, ring 319-5206. Men and women will 5026. So watch that. There's a transposition in the notes. So it's 2 shifts, men separately from women, and those showers are available from 4 to 6 p.m. daily. Bring your own towels, soap and shampoo, and as long as there's enough water, that'll be available from 4 till 6. Now on the fuel front, where a fuel plan is being implemented, we're still using a CHIT system to get fuel for emergency response, for life support, and critical livelihood needs. So if you go and register for a CHIT, and that can be allocated. We have about 5-6 days of petrol in store. We have more 8, 9, 10 days of diesel. But with the fuel plan, we hope that with the allocation system, it can be sustained for some time yet while we get a longer term solution. Now at the marae, after a week of feeding visitors and the great response that they've given us, all the workers of the Takahanga Marae in Kaikoura will serve its last communal meal tonight. Food packs will no longer be distributed from the marae, and people with ongoing needs for assistance will be able to visit the Recovery Assistance Centre that's been set up at the Kaikoura Primary School. Now at the centre, the people will get information how to access civil defence emergency payments, information on making claims with EQC, support services for those that are suffering from stress, helpful information for parents, and extra support for those who are vulnerable. That's the elderly, those with young children, and underlying health issues. So please make use of that. That's at the primary school. So now we have toilets and power. We want people to be focused on recovering at home. The supermarket is open and more supplies are being brought in. Cash is available at the Westpac, and WINS is available to assist those who need it at the centre at the primary school. For the businesses, if you run a business and you have a white sticker on your building, you can reopen. And most of those businesses now do have water. And if the Defence Force has indicated that they can transport supplies from Christchurch to Kaikoura businesses if they can arrange the supply from Christchurch. So if you wish to take this offer up, you'll need to let us know at the council reception and we can get that organised for you. If you are a business owner, you can please stay behind for a few minutes at the end, and we'd like to get your contact details and set up a meeting of what your needs are and how we might be able to support you. Schools, portaloos are being delivered to schools today, and I've got some sad news for the kids. It might be time to go back to school shortly, but that more information will be coming on that. But we want to get kids back into school, restore their routines, and get life back to normal as quick as we can. So the 111 line still operates if you need normal emergency services, and that line will be responded to. There is a total fire ban in the whole district, not because it's extremely hot or dry, it's because we don't have the resources to go and fight rural fires while we're dealing with the current emergency. So I'd ask you for cooperation with the fire ban. And remember to check your fireplaces, because if the chimney is damaged or there's bricks missing up in the ceiling cavities or the roof cavity, there is the likelihood of a fire, and we had one example of that the other morning. So the fire service are more than happy to come and check your chimney to make sure that it is safe to get your fire restarted. And if you need to use a barbecue, take the following precautions. Have a bucket of water available. Ensure the barbecue is clear of buildings and vegetation. Ensure that children are not left unsupervised close to the barbecue. And the size of the fire is minimized to just meet your cooking requirements. And it's important to ensure that if it's a charcoal barbecue or something, that is completely extinguished after use. Now, police have got a concern that because we're in an earthquake response, some of the driving habits are starting to be a bit lackadaisical. So we've seen people, excessive speed, not wearing safety belts. I've actually witnessed people driving down, making urgent phone calls while they're driving. We still want to maintain a lawful society, and so we'd ask people to think about the normal road rules. And although they're not coming down heavy-handed, that is the warning. We do want to return to normal. And so, one thing to update you on is that it's come to the end of my shift, and I'll be heading back to Christchurch to introduce myself to my wife and kids, and been handing over today to Murray Sinclair. And I'd like to ask Murray just to come forward, and he's a very, very, very competent emergency response manager. He'll be taking over as controller. He's had a huge amount of experience from the Canterbury earthquakes. So Murray, could you please step forward and introduce yourself?
Thanks, John. Look, I'm sorry to be here in the circumstances that we've struck ourselves in. It just takes me back sort of 6 years ago to what Christchurch was going through. But I think as you're seeing here, Canterbury's one big community. New Zealand's a bigger community still, and everyone else is coming in to help everyone else out. And I think it really shows the character of New Zealanders as well. Look, I think it'd be wouldn't be fitting if John walked away without a round of applause for him. He's done a sturdy job since last Tuesday. It's always hard coming into a response and initially setting up structures and getting things going, because things are sort of all chaotic, as we all know how things will be. Look, there's just a couple of updates too that John probably doesn't know. I got a phone call that I was coming up the hill here. The Canterbury, they're having a rest day and they're going to load the ship again tomorrow from midday. So they'll be back with some supplies probably, Tuesday, I suspect. And the other thing is EQC are going to have a presence in Kaikoura over the next couple of days as well. And one other update is John mentioned a wee bit about the Recovery Assistance Centre. The hours for that one are going to be 8:30 to 5 at the school. So do avail yourselves of that. This is not where you can get food or food parcels. It is for information about you may need to talk to someone about it, all those sort of services, anything there. Hopefully EQC might end up in the same area as well, so it's a one-stop shop. So do avail yourselves of that. And it will be growing. It's a service that's growing. In the start-up tomorrow, unless it's going today actually. It is going today, but the services will come on board over the next few days, so it'll build up further. And if I can just take the opportunity to ask Melanie to come up. Melanie is from Child Friendly Spaces, so she can just have a minute or so just talking to you about what you can be doing for kids and what her service can provide.